Top of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. In the Caribbean, America, and elsewhere yesterday, people celebrated Mother's Day. Obviously, I am not a mother, but I did singularly mother and father our 3 children for a year, many years ago when my dearly beloved was abroad studying and working. Without the help of their aunts, I would have been one bad mother. I'm sure my children in their teen years looking at my first name initial frequently thought it meant I was a bad mother. I shall trust that when they viewed the initial of our last name, F, they maintained it meant Friday and nothing else. I once chatted with a certain mother. She was in an unhappy marriage. Aside from being in a time long before the frequency of divorces skyrocketed, I asked her why she stayed in this unhappy marriage when, having certain skills, she might have been able to make it on her own. She said she stayed in it for the sake of the children. Now, I'm not here to dissect the wisdom of that decision, for each situation requires its own assessment and judgment, but there are times when enduring a bad marriage for the children's sake is a good decision, and there are other times when it is not. Sometimes children can be harmed due to a divorce or a separation, and sometimes they can be harmed due to a bad marriage that continues on. My focus today is not on marriages, bad or good. It is on mothers and their endurance and a particular lesson they teach us. Often, whether they remained in a bad marriage or left, most mothers soldier on as champions for their children, sometimes without the help of their fathers. Many fathers, though, do become the sole support of their kids, while also some mothers do leave the picture. But there is something universal that mothers and mothering and fathers and fathering, both when done well, teach us that I don't think humanity is practicing well today. And it is this: how to build healthy relationships. When mothering is enabled by supportive fathering to become effective and transformational, and vice versa, children, and by extension, society, learn lessons for community. We learn to respect and value others as equals in our humanity. We learn that they equally deserve recognition, sustenance, opportunities, justice, security, and so much more. We develop resistance to or antidotes for polarizing behaviors that tribalize us, making us enemies of one another. I have a childhood friend who grew up as a single child of a single mother. I watched him course through life with important values, dignity, and a sense of fairness for others. I knew his mother well. She welcomed me frequently into their home. She must have struggled as a single mother, but I was too young to notice. On many Sunday afternoons, I and another friend would take turns riding my friend's bike, which he shared willingly with us. What I know is that this man did much with his life in service to others, in healing people and communities in more ways than one. The accolades go to his single mother, and their story blows apart the stereotype that the so-called only child is destined for selfishness, or that single parenting always damages children. Good parenting, whether by single parents, but ideally by both, teach us the important life lesson of, as I put it, staying at the table. Although the 525 people here in America who supposedly represent the American people in the House and Senate are in the same chambers, the same room, around the same tables, they too frequently do not stay at the table. Some of them have made compromise and even conversations sins and crimes. Social media are not designed for staying at the table. Anonymity, or the dangerous factualization of opinions, whether they are insightful or insidious, erect walls, promote deception, root people in their own tribes, and scatter them to their own bases. We frequently describe political tribes nowadays as bases, and quite often the bases are debased. In churches also, people leave the table, although we're meant to stay there, it being the Lord's table. Our commonality of faith and love in Jesus Christ supersedes theological positions and thought. And 100 years from now or more, people will look back on our time, even as we do now, at church history of several centuries ago, and scratch their heads and wonder, that is what the church split over? That is why they kept all those kinds of people out of the church? Not to mention the senseless religious thought that is at the heart of dangerous policies that have yielded senseless death in places like Palestine and Israel, Africa, Burma, India, China, and on and on and on. Recently, in a few different kinds of organizations in which I am involved, I have seen people get up and walk away from the table in the middle of a process towards understanding and resolution. Many of them are women, many are mothers. There are many more situations, of course, in which men, fathers and leaders, refuse to even come to the table, to even begin the process of understanding. Such men, some of them, place themselves on pedestals with their highfalutin titles of apostle this and whoever that, at least in the church, place themselves with their prideful aloofness above everybody else, thinking that they are better, holier, smarter, and more valued than everybody else. So we've come full circle. I hope that not simply all mothers, but also all people who have or ever had mothers had a special day yesterday. Perhaps today and onward, we might all reflect on this question. If the women who gave us birth stayed at the table, in a manner of speaking, for 9 long, painful months, ordinarily, to give us a shot at life, what hinders us from staying at the table for a few minutes longer until we reach peace, understanding, harmony, reconciliation, and joy in the neighborhood, in society, in the nation, and in the world once more? Please like and share this video with someone else. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again soon. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.